Hey guys, welcome. Can you hear me? Let me know if the voice is okay and you can see the video clear. Turn it up. Yeah, I see, Rob. Man, I have limited help and limited stuff going on here, so trying my best. Thanks, Craig. Appreciate it. Hello, guys. Hey, Bay Area Rich, Rob, Todd, Craig. Good morning, guys. Good afternoon, whatever. Hope you guys are well. Let's see here. Pull this out for a minute. This is the Jet, right? A little better look at it. Really nice looking guitar. My first experience with these things, I never had a Jet before. I've had just about every other brand on the face of the earth, but not this one. So this was a newbie for me. Hey, Steve. Good morning. Welcome. Yeah, Steve, I saw your reviews on these things, and it's all your fault, buddy, that I bought one. Those of you that don't know Steve Cassidy, he's got a neat little channel, and he's done a bunch of reviews on Jets and compared them against Fenders and other brands, right? And Steve gave them really, really great reviews. So Steve and a bunch of other YouTubers actually, and that's what got me. So I said, geez, everybody's saying that. John Nathan Cordy did one recently. Everybody's been saying that these Jets are such great guitars that I, couldn't help myself and went out and bought one. More to that in a second. Let's see. You can hear me fine, but the amp needs to be cranked. Yeah, well, I'm going to play very little, Rob. I'm not going to, subject you guys to abuse. I'm trying to have this as a helpful and fun experience, not a painful one. So that was just the startup jam. I'll leave the extended jams to my boy Steve. But in any event, thanks everybody. I'm glad that you guys joined. And let's talk a little bit about guitars, right? That's what we're here for. So first off, this Jet, let me give you my opinion, right? For every man's got an opinion. Everybody wants a certain thing in a guitar that others might not, and vice versa. So me being a home hobbyist, me being a novice, me not being a a shredder or a great guitar player, I'm looking for something that's fairly well made and set up out of the box, right? That's really one of my main objectives, and not breaking the bank. So this guy came in, shipped from Sam Ash. That, by the way, that's where I bought the guitar from. And I'm in the States, right? New York area. So I ordered this online from Sam Ash, and by far they had the best price. So these brand new at Sam Ash are going for $199 free shipping, which is a very good price for this JS 400 model. Now, again, the starter models of this guitar are basically the JS 300 and the JS 400 in terms of the Strat style guitars. They also have, I believe, a 350, which is a Tele style. But the Strat style guitars are the 300 and the 400. And the main difference between those two models, this is the 400, is that it has a roasted maple neck. It has this nice, neat joint area on the neck that's, slanted, right? And has the 4 screws as opposed to the block with metal plate. So they call this, I think, a sculpted neck, right? And it also has this humbucker in the bridge. So it's a hot rodded Strat, right? It's not the traditional 3 singles. It's got the humbucker in the bridge and 2 singles. These are ceramic pickups. The roasted maple neck is phenomenal. It really feels nice. It's a nice thickness. It's not too thin, not too thick. And I just love the way that darker roasted maple looks against this vintage yellow body. It's a nice color contrast, in my opinion. Now, what are the 2 things that I'm not crazy about with this particular guitar? That's why I'm not going to necessarily say it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's got some issues, at least according to me. And that it came with sharp frets. Now, a lot of guitars come with sharp frets. I get it, right? They're shipping from overseas. They're going through a bunch of different climates, and it's the winter. So you're going to get, some issues. But this thing has sharp frets pretty much up, on the top side and the bottom side of the fretboard, up and down the neck. It can be, handled. That's not a big deal. But I was hearing and reading from a lot of folks doing reviews that these were almost like rolled fret ends on this guitar. That hasn't been my experience, right? The other thing is, I don't like the tuners on this guitar at all. I've had much better budget tuners on other brands that are selling for, significantly less than this thing sells for. Not that they're horrific, which they're not, but there's a lot of play, a lot of movement in them, and the guitar loses tune a lot with these particular tuners. And they're basic, sealed import tuners. They're branded Jet. But again, in my opinion, they're not the best. But those are 2 minor things, right? The guitar is made extremely well. It looks great. The paint job was fantastic. It's finished nice. It had a slight finish crack at the base of the neck. I think Steve mentioned one of the Jets he bought also had some finish cracks on the neck. That might be a thing with these Jet guitars. I don't know. But I went to Sam Ash and they gave me like $25 off, which was reasonable for this guitar. The headstock, I like. I think it looks good. I like that Jet logo. I have very little to complain about. There's no sharp feeling on the bridge when you have your hand against it. The tone knobs are a little bit on the chintzy side, in my opinion. The tone and the volume knobs, they feel okay, but I'm not sure how great these potentiometers are on this guitar. The thing that I have, I said in my earlier review is throw a gig bag in, for crying out loud. For $200, $240, which is what these things go for, include a gig bag. Even if it's not a great gig bag, it's still better than none. Hey, Brian, searching from Tone. How you doing? Thanks for joining. Hope you're doing well. Blues Rockers, how you doing, my boy? My son just bought me a 2004 Gibson SG in faded cherry, $750. That's a nice gift, my man. Being delivered Wednesday. That's something to look forward to. Beautiful guitar. You got a nice, generous son, that's for sure. Does the humbucker look small? I think it's probably the way it's set in. It's set a little bit lower, Craig, than the singles, but I believe they're the same size. I know what you're saying. It might be an optical contusion that it looks that way, but I believe they're the same size. Let's see what else. Who's here? Bay Area. Joe, what is your stand on budget amps? Okay, budget amps. I'm not really that much of an aficionado on amps because I don't buy them nearly as much as I buy these budget guitars. But I've had good experience with the Katana, the bigger Katana amp, the 50 watter and the 25 watter. I've had good experience with the Fenders, the Mustangs of the world. I've had good experience with some of the mid to lower end Vox amps that are out there, the digital amps. They're made very well and they sound great. What else? I'm trying to think. Right now I have a Black Star, which is the Black Star Stereo 20, small little amp. Hang on, guys. I'm doing this for Craig. That's it, Craig. Nice, small, compact amp. I believe these are two 6.5-inch speakers, if I'm not mistaken. Very basic, control mechanism, easy to control, which is good for my stupid brain. Light. It doesn't have battery capability. It's only, plug in, but it's a good little amp. Really a nice little amp. What else? What am I looking at here? Blues Rocker said the humbucker appears to be smaller in width. I think it's the way it's set, but I'm not. Hey, Steve, I know you've had a bunch of Mr. Cassidy. I know you've had a bunch of these Jet guitars. Is the humbucker on the 400 smaller, the two singles that are lapped together, than the standard single coil on the guitar? Maybe Steve can answer that one. Jets have slightly rolled fretboard edges. They don't even advertise, but they don't have rolled fret ends. Yeah, they don't have the ball ends. That's for sure. But even the fret ends look like they were just cut, and they haven't been filed down too well. So that's why they're sticking out a bit. But let me see. Lines up under the strings. Hang on a second. I'm getting a lot of requests at once. You know what? The humbucker pickups do appear smaller. Yes. Than the length. The lengthwise, they appear smaller than the two singles. You're absolutely right. You guys have very sharp eyes there. I never noticed that, honestly. But they do appear smaller. And maybe Steve can confirm that. Yeah, I think they are a tad bit smaller. Let me just make sure I'm answering. I'm getting to the questions here. I don't want to miss anything. Humbucker appears to be smaller. Joe check. Yep. Many budget guitars don't. Many times the magnet poles are off. Yeah, they seem to be lined up okay. Again, I'm not a connoisseur on that stuff, blues man, but yeah, they appear to be lined up. Line 6 is the OG. Yeah, there you go, Harry. Yes, indeed, Steve saying my tech did have to file away some of the pickguard to fit a GFS humbucker in there. So it's a little smaller, I guess, is what Steve is saying, the humbucker, compared to the two singles in size. Yeah. So back to the amps. So those are, that's my input on the amps. I mean, that's my experience with them. I've had a couple of little orange amps. I haven't been crazy about those. I had the I always forget. It's the longer amp. It's smaller. It's about that high and that long. I used that for a while. It's a digital amp, and for the life of me, my old brain can't remember. Very popular amp. I can't remember the name of that one, but not the Yamaha, Harry. But the Yamaha also, I never had one, but I've read great things about the Yamahas. the digital amps as well. They're supposed to make a great product, and they make a very small little unit as well. Positive Grid, man. You came to the rescue, Steve. That's the one. Woo-hoo. I feel better now. It's like having something that you want to get out and you can't remember. You helped me on that one. Good one. Positive Grid Spark. Yeah. And I had that for a long time, actually, and had a great, I found it to be very portable, sounded fine, had great adjustments, wasn't, overly complicated to use, which is great for me. And yeah, I like that amp. Craig said his Spark Neo arrived. Tested it. Pretty awesome. Yeah. I think Positive Grid makes great stuff. Blues Rocker says he has a Line 6. It's real hit or miss, full tone. Good for some things, but not well-rounded for me. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. So the Jet. I'm going to try to stick to some semblance of a discussion if I can here. The Jet was on my mind. The other thing was I made a video that compared the Jet to a Donner Q1, which is like the DST 100, I guess, that Donner makes. And I was getting a lot of noise and a lot of pushback saying, it's not a fair comparison. The Jet's a $250 guitar. The Donners are $90, $89. Yeah, well, that might be true because eBay is discounting them right now, right? They're blowing them out for some reason. But in terms of the guitar itself, both are very similar in terms of, they're both basswood, bodies. They both have a similar configuration, HSS. They both have, the same design basically as a Strat style guitar. So there was a lot of similarities. And I went and said that it was very close in terms of, from a value standpoint, in terms of feature function. And I gave a couple of extra points to the roasted maple fretboard, the bone nut on the Jet, etc. What I was major league disappointed with was Donner for the description on the eBay site, which was not accurate, right? It said that it had a cowbone nut. It doesn't. It has a plastic nut. It said it had hand-wound Alnico pickups. It does not. It did not. It had ceramic pickups. It said a whole host of other things that were inaccurate, and I called it out in a video. So that's one of the things that you have to be real careful about on eBay or any of these sites, is that the descriptions are less than accurate. And one of the other things that really, really got my goat was someone told me that my video that I did, on Donner, was on the eBay site, on their eBay site under their product description, which we never had any discussion with, never authorized. And I don't know if there's anything I can do about that. It's probably a public video or whatever. But it just didn't seem above board to me for them to go and use my video without at least even contacting me first. But I guess that's the crap that happens in this business, and who the hell knows. Let me see what we got. Awesome shirt. Yeah, thanks. They refurbished those Donners. Yeah, I don't believe all of them are supposed to be, Harry. In fact, the one I got looked like it was brand new. Had the plastic all over it, was sealed nice, shipped nice. But they, who knows? It might be, but they still are not over. They're not very accurate in terms of what they describe. And a lot of people were pissed because, I mentioned that was a good deal, and the description of the guitar, the reason I bought it because of those things, the tuners, the cowbone nut, the Alnico pickups. Oh, the other one was. It was supposed to have a 9.5-inch to a 14-inch neck on it. So it was a compound radius, which it wasn't. It was clearly a static, a consistent radius across the neck. It was 12 inches. So there were a lot of things that were not very accurate. Let's see, Steve, what are you saying? The Silver Sky, unfortunately, didn't make me sound like John Mayer as advertised. Yeah. I didn't even attempt to buy it because I knew that wouldn't happen with me. With the Jet, when playing, which position is your favorite? So I like 2 and 4 personally, only because I find the others is, typical 60 cycle hum issues. Bay Area man. So I have noiseless the pickups appear noiseless on 2 and 4. So I find myself using them a lot more. I don't know what Steve's, feeling is on that, since he's played his Jet a hell of a lot longer than I've had mine. But that's what I'm using the most, Bay Area Rich. Tube amps. Todd is saying tube amps. Okay, no good deed goes unpunished. Brian, Steve is a great marketing scheme. He may be entitled to compensation. I'm not sure what that's regarding, Brian, in terms of the marketing scheme, but maybe I caught that late. Yeah. So anyway, that's the Donner situation. But we'll see what happens with that. Hey, Joe, there's a setting on videos you can check so they can't embed on other websites. Okay, see, you're a lot more technically savvy than I am. I have to look for that. I didn't even know about that setting. The Silver Sky and John Mayer. Okay, Brian. Hogan's Hideout. Welcome. Just got here. What are the guitars behind me? Okay, so the guitars behind me are, let's see if you can see them. They're not really coming into this frame very well. I don't know if this helps, but so we've got here a Jet JS400, right? One humbucker, 2 single coils. In the back there is a Tees guitar. It's the SBH E series from Torsten over at Tees Guitars, and that's a Telly style guitar. It's got a let me look over here. It's got a blade humbucker in the bridge as opposed to a single, and it's got a single at the neck. And then we've got behind it a Fender Player Series, and this is the Player Series 1, not the Player Series 2, the newer release. But it's a nice, unique color. It's called Surf Pearl, and I love the guitar. I got it from Musician's Friend. And then over here to the right is another Fender Squier. It's the Squier Affinity Telly with a humbucker at the neck as opposed to the bridge, and the embedded single in the bridge for that Affinity guitar. And what I liked about that guitar was the flame maple top on it. I like the flame. So that's what we got here. They're all Telly style and Strat style guitars. Hopefully that helps and answers your question. Steve is saying the position 4 for me too. Yeah. So 4 is got a little bit more spank in it than 2, and doesn't hum. So I like position 4 as well. What else? Let's see here. Silver Sky, blah, blah, blah. Okay, now, heads up on a deal, in case you haven't seen my other video that I posted this morning. Adorama, once again, has more Gretsch deals. So those of you over here that are Gretsch fans, this is a really good one. It's the G5220 Jet guitar. It's the Electromatic Jet. So it's not the Streamliner. It's the notch up. And it's in Bristol Fog. It's a really, really cool color with a nice wood grain. And it's almost like a charcoalish with blue brownish in it. They call it Bristol Fog with a beautiful grain. And $249 right now over at Adorama, free shipping. Guitar's normally $599, so that's a 58% off. It's a great price, and that's that. Now, in terms of heads up on another deal, just getting this stuff out of the way. For those of you that are Timo familiar with Timo, the Asian Amazon-like website. They're having a $20 off $100 sale right now. So I'm a sucker. So I shouldn't even be enabling you folks. I got on it, and of course I had to buy something that was dirt cheap. No idea, sight unseen. No idea what the guitar is like. It's a Musily or something. Musily, Strat style guitar, HSS. They have them on Amazon, but it's got a really cool paint job. And they had a crazy deal on that one, so I went and bought it. I'm just stupid. So when I get the guitar, I'll let you guys know if it's any good. But Temu, yeah, $20 off, $100 or more. Steve is saying, check out the difference between the Player One and Jet fretboard edges. The wood, not the frets. Just run your finger along. Ignore the fret ends. See if you get what I mean. Okay, I'm going to have to do that because Steve asked me. Let me see what we got here. I'm going to move this out of the way. Yeah, these are pretty sharp, unfortunately. But you know what, Steve? The fret ends, and again, this is the wintertime here in New York, but the fret ends on the Player are also sharp. So actually, you know, the fret ends on the Jet, although they're sharp and they stick out, it doesn't have the same kind of caustic feeling as it does on the Fender Player. I don't know if that's what Steve is getting at, but it's interesting. Both have sharp fret ends, and that's a you know, a $700 guitar, right? Normally $800 compared to this guy, which is a $220 guitar. Yeah, not the fret ends. It's the rolled wood fretboard itself. Yeah. The neck feels smoother, whatever that means, Steve. But the frets are sharp on both. You feel some sharpness to the frets. Guitar Adventures with Ray. How you doing, Ray? Ray Landis. Timo is totally safe. I've had no issues with them, I'll be honest with you. I mean, refunds are very fast. Shipping is a lot better because they have domestic sites that ship a lot of the guitars. So rather than coming from China, which takes forever, they're here somewhere like Amazon does and ships out fairly quick. And the return process was painless on one guitar that I had to send back. So I really honestly can't say anything bad about Temu. That's my personal experience, at least. Harry says he got a great acoustic. Well, spit it out. Let us know. What did you get, Harry? I've never bought on Temu. Is it safe? Craig is asking. Yeah, we just went over that. I've had no problems. Hey, GRB Aquatics, welcome. Welcome, my friend. Good day. How you doing? Out your way, across the pond. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, so get the Adorama deal out of the way. Temu, $20 off, 100 or more. Now, the next thing, tariffs. Let's talk about that a little bit because a lot of YouTubers have put the fear of God in people over the tariff situation with Mexico, China, and Canada. And I made a video a while back saying, you know, don't panic. But I honestly don't think that with respect to China, because I'm not buying a lot of guitars that are made in Canada. I mean, some of the acoustic brands, a lot of the acoustic brands now are coming out of Canada, Godin and some of those types. But electric guitars, predominantly at the budget pricing that we're talking about and buying, the majority of them are China or Indonesia, and a good majority of them are China. I'll give you an example. China, the one back there, the T's, China. This Fender is Indonesia. That Squire back there, China. So 3 out of those 4 guitars are China. Don't panic. I mean, I don't see it affecting anything. As a matter of fact, I keep seeing deals every day. I mean, Gretsch is another good example, right? That Gretsch is made in China too that we're talking about on Adorama. Prices are coming down. They're not going up. So unless something drastically happens with these tariffs over the next couple of months, I don't see it having any impact at all because 10% on this price range where there's enough margin in these guitars to begin with, the manufacturers are going to absorb any issue. And they're not going to all of a sudden inflate because it's a very competitive market. They're not going to inflate the cost of these guitars and price themselves out. So I don't think there's anything to worry about. That's my opinion. If you guys, feel otherwise, share your thoughts with me. It's a great discussion, but I don't think it's going to have it's something for us to worry about. Let's see here. Absolutely perfect. Oh, cool. I'm not familiar with that guitar, Harry. GRB, the DST 550 looks impressive and good reviews. The only thing that's stopping me from trying one of those, Harry, is the price. I mean, GRB is the price. I just can't see myself spending, $250, $300 on something that I don't have any, that doesn't have a great amount of reviews or hasn't been out that long. It's a fairly new product to Donner. They're getting involved in a different tier. I know they're claiming that particular guitar is as good as a classic vibe or competes with a classic vibe. I just, for $300, I can get a used classic vibe. That's just my thought process. But a lot of people have been raving about the 550, the DST 550 from Donner. And it does look impressive. It definitely does. But you know what? I mean, Torsten is an example, Tease. He keeps coming out with guitars at a lower price point that have, locking tuners, that have stainless steel frets, that have Alnico pickups, all the upgraded pots, all the stuff that you're gonna get at that next level of guitar at a lower price point. I mean, that Tease guitar, that SBH E series, is a freaking phenomenal. It's a beast. It's a phenomenal guitar. The quality is insane. I don't know how they do it and charge, under $300 for a guitar like that. It's mind-boggling. Okay, Steve, take care, man. Thanks for stopping by. You be well. Let's see, Harry, $130. Okay, I think I missed some of the conversation. The Temu Les Paul knockoffs, Gibson markings, their size, seized copyright infringement. Can we get our money back? MJ, Vic, thank you. Welcome. I don't know what you're asking here, the answer to that one, unless someone else here on the forum knows that. But I really can't answer that about the Temu Les Pauls. I'll tell you what, though, the prices are crazy. They look great. Somebody on YouTube did a review on one of them, and I can't remember who the hell it was. But he really liked his Les Paul, and he was basically saying it was as good. Was it Mike or something like that? One Bike Mike, or I can't remember his name, but I think that's the guy that did the Temu Les Paul review, and he really liked what he bought. Todd, let's see. Hey, welcome, Todd. Good points on the DSTO. Although the classic vibes don't have some of the modern features. Yeah, they don't. The classic vibes don't, and that's just it. I mean, if you're looking for a modern features of the guitar, then you're probably looking at contemporaries and other brands of Squires, other styles of Squires other than the classic vibe to begin with. But you're right. If you want some of those modern features, Donner's coming out with the high-end stuff. Fesley has a high-end model out, which I've never seen, but I've read that they're decent. The only problem, again, I have with that is the lower-end Fesleys that I've seen. I'm not crazy about them. Like the FST 100, right? Their basic Strat entry level. That's the one with the metal humbucker and the two ceramic singles or whatever. To me, it's not as good as a monoprice Strat. So I've never tried that next tier up for Fesley or seen the next tier up. But again, at the prices that they're coming out with now in the threes and up, $329.99, $269.99, I'm not willing to take that chance, I guess. Blues Breakers is asking me how much work did that Garrett need, Joe? The one I got was actually decent out of the box. I mean, string height, it was high. It had the fret ends were perfect on the guitar because of the bald fret ends that it had. So there were no fret end issues. It was way out of intonation on the guitar. And that might have had something to do with the strings being, way off the fretboard. What I found mostly was it just needed a quick setup in terms of lowering the action and intonating the guitar. The other thing was the tuners were crap, absolute crap on that guitar. So if you're a serious player and you're playing out or in a band, recording, whatever the case might be, you have to replace those tuners. The pickups were not even acceptable in my opinion. And I had both the humbucker model as well as the P90 Les Paul style gear. The pickups were another weak point on the guitar. They were not very good at all. But again, you know, at $80 or whatever they were charging on Amazon for those things, you know, what are you going to expect? Brian, Two Bike Mike, that's the guy that did the one on the review, I believe, on the Temu Les Paul. Thanks, Brian. You helped an old brain here. Remember or recount the name, but that's the guy. Two Bike Mike does a lot of work on, you know, on guitars, replaces things, mods guitars, etc. Harry, Grote makes a good Les Paul. Yeah, Grote has stepped up their game. And again, Temu right now with the $100 with the $20 off, $100 or more, they have a bunch of Grote models on there as well. But their Telecaster style guitars that they have, I think Brian did a review on those on his channel. The Grote Telecaster style. What else? The Les Paul style guitars, they're decent. I mean, Grote, no issues, right? No issues at all. They make a good product. They've been around a while now, right? They've been out close to 10 years or more. So there's a body of work from them. And I've never personally had any issues with them. It's just not that next level. That's what I find with Grote. They're not at that next level yet. It's still a beginners, learners, modding platform type guitar. West Creek's a very good, Harry. Great value. You get a good bang for the buck. They have the rounded fret ends on their guitars. Most of them are stainless steel frets. I found them to come with decent stock tuners on the guitar. The pickups are workable and acceptable on them. The body finishes are out of this world. They do a great job with paint jobs and everything else. So West Creek definitely gives Donna a run for their money. The lower end brands that I'm seeing now that are coming out, you know, more and more with better quality, you know, Jet, Donner, certainly our friends at Tees. Festley, I don't have experience with at that mid-tier level of them. The lower end, again, I haven't been terribly impressed with. But those are the guitars that West Creek, I think I mentioned also. They have very good value, very good bang for the buck. Craig? Yes, Craig. I asked Torsten the same thing. You know, what's the difference between the SBH HD, I think is the model, if I'm not mistaken, Telly, and the E series? And it's really that roller bridge, that the roller string tree that they put on it, and the standard belly carve in the back, and some new colors. That's about it. Otherwise, the guitars are identical. Pickups are identical. Woods, components, everything's identical. Harry, Leo James. Yeah, I've had mixed experience with Leo James. Early Leo James was a nightmare. Some of the new products are better, in my opinion, than the early products. But I've kind of had mixed reviews. Craig, it has the swimming pool route. Yes, Rob. A lot of room there for modding the guitar and switching out things. Let's see what else. I agree on the Grote guitars. I picked up a T-style a couple of months ago. It was so and sent it back, Todd. Yeah. They're good for what you pay, but you know you're going to be prepared, right, to have some issues. Do you get the SX? Do you guys get the SX guitars? SX. Okay, so you're talking about Rondo SX GRB Aquatics. I bought from Rondo a while ago, a long time ago, and they had a bunch of different brands, SX and like 2 or 3 other house brands. And I've had pretty decent experience with them. I mean, I found a pretty good bang for the buck with their guitars. I know their Strat style guitars were good. Then they have Agile, which is their step up brand for their Les Pauls, which get great reviews. So, Yeah, I think Rondo has some decent products. If that's what you're referring to when you say SX. Um, Blues Rocker wants to know if I ever bought a guitar from Guitar Fetish, GFS, Guitar Fetish. Yes, I have. I bought an Xavier, if I'm pronouncing that right, Strat style guitar. I bought a couple of acoustics that they were blowing out. I bought a 335 that they had a clearance on that they were blowing out. Their higher end stuff, their Xavier stuff, is decent. The good thing about what I found is their stock pickups, because they sell them. All right, that's how they make their money. A lot of OEM guitars put in Guitar Fetish pickups are very, very good pickups. You get a very high quality pickup for a lower price point. And a lot of the guitars, the Xavier guitars, come with their GFS pickups in them, and they're decent. So the experience I've had, and it's been minimal, has been positive with them. Now, you have to pay shipping. The shipping does take a little longer than normal with them that I found. And it's not easy to get a hold of them. It's mostly through email. They don't have any sort of phone number. They don't have any chat that I'm aware of, unless that's changed. So that's my bigger problem with Guitar Fetish, is getting a hold of them. But they have periodic sales, that are crazy, 30% off, whatever. Let me see. I'm just trying to catch up. You don't hear much. Craig is asking about AIO anymore. Yeah. Mad Max or Guitar Max did a bunch of reviews on AIO stuff a while back. He was really big on them. I don't have any experience with them. But hey, Mitch, good morning. Welcome. Thanks for joining. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I was just talking about Leo James, Mitch, before you joined. Someone mentioned them, and I said I have mixed feelings about him. The early Leo James stuff I had was riddled with problems and issues. Switches going, pickups shorting out, microphonic stuff, you name it. And then they got better, it seemed. And you're telling me now that on your Monsoon, you've got a 3-way switch short or issue going on? Yeah, I mean, that's too bad. I'm sorry to hear that. Rob says I still need to get a GFS Earl Slick. Yeah, I never bought one of those, Rob, but they look great, especially some of those finishes they have. They're kind of crazy with their ash bodies, right? I used to love Earl Slick in Bowie. Great guitar player. The Bowie Live from Philly, he played on that. Man, that guy can cook. Giving my age away, right? Let's see here. Oh, thanks for Rob. Never heard of Rondo. Yeah. So Rondo is the store here that sells the SX guitars. Floodland, welcome. He owns 2 AIO guitars, same model. All right. Let's see. Harry's saying that SG copy from Leo James. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people like that better than the lower end Epiphone SGs. Does look nice. The only thing I'm not crazy about is it's a little that offset look on the SG. But, bang for the buck, you're probably getting a lot more value with that Leo James than you are in the Epiphone SG specials that they have for like $1.99, $2.99, whatever they are now. Floodland, what is your best sounding guitar? Well, when someone else is playing it, they probably all sound decent. When I'm playing it, none of them. Now, let's see. What do I like? I have, it's in a case back there. I'm not going to attempt to even get to it, but I have a Gretsch hollow body. It's a G5420, I believe is the model. It's a full hollow body, like Chet Atkins style guitar. And it's got these Filtertrons that are new. I think they're 5V is the model. I'm not sure. Pristine, chime-like, crystalline. Get that really, really chimey, jangly Gretsch sound. And it's just a beautiful sound. I really like that guitar, sound-wise. And I like, believe it or not, my Squier Paranormal 12-string. because that also gives a unique sound. So if I'm going to go down that rabbit hole, I'm going to use those two as examples. But these all kind of sound similar, depending upon what kind of settings you set up on your amp and etc. They're not that different. Let's see here. Birdman, welcome. How you doing, buddy? Cats Meow, welcome. Let's see here. Cheap Guitar Channel. Todd, how you doing? That's a nice name for someone, the Cheap Guitar Channel. So sounds like you've got a channel, buddy. I'm going to call you out. And it's my kind of channel if you talk about cheap guitars. Welcome aboard. The Blues Rockers, as far as I know, a Gibson guitar that has the ink stamp serial numbers are Chipsons. Because Gibson burns the numbers. Yeah, they burn the numbers in the headstock, right? So that could very well be an off-market guitar. Yeah, Rob, the Ibanez basses that you're mentioning, I've seen a lot of really, really good prices on Adorama. Every now and then they run a special on the Ibanez basses as well. The Talmans, I believe, the lower end. For crazy prices. They had a Talman, I think it was yellow, for like $199 for the longest time. And I'm hearing great things about Yamaha basses, as well, Ibanez basses rather, as well as Yamaha. Let's see. Fletcher, welcome aboard, Fletcher Floyd. Todd, if you guys haven't checked out the Cheap Guitar Channel, give him a shout, Todd is saying. The Cheap Guitar Channel. You sold me, Todd. You sold me. And thanks for joining Cheap Guitar Channel. I'm looking forward to checking it out. Absolutely. Fletcher Floyd, I got one of the Ibanez Talman basses, and they're great. Yeah, I mean, good value, right? You're not going to go wrong with an Ibanez. I mean, from a quality standpoint, even at the lower end, they're pretty decent. I don't have a Xavier acoustic anymore. Nope. I got rid of that a while ago. Me personally. I don't know if anybody else on the channel does. But they had some no-brand acoustics that they were clearing out on their clearance section with 30% off coupons where you can get like an acoustic guitar for literally like $40 on Guitar Fetish. This is a while ago, about 2 years ago. And every now and then they do that. They blew out ES335s that had no brand names. That were just this. Basically, it was almost like buying a Grote. It looked identical, and but it had no name on the headstock. And they were blowing those out too at Guitar Fetish, like 30 off of some ridiculously low price to begin with, where you can get those guitars for like $100 out the door. So they do have good deals. GRB, acoustic electric. Yeah. What else? Let's see here. What else did I want to cover? Oh, the other thing, this is one of the last things that I had on the list, was IYV guitars on Amazon. For those of you that like them, you might want to check Amazon out. I've noticed recently that a lot of the models that were out of stock for the longest period of time are back in stock now. They've got a Les Paul style guitar with two P90s in it. I think for short money, like $150 or so. That Rickenbacker copy that was out of stock forever, that's been in stock for a while. And they've got a bunch of other models. And IYV, which is Indian Vina guitars out of Vietnam, make very, very good quality stuff. In fact, somebody mentioned AIO. The pickups in the IYVs were also in the AIO guitars. Were also in some of the Harley Benton guitars. They all share a Vietnamese manufacturing facility. In fact, ESP LTD guitars use a Vietnam manufacturing facility as well. So, yeah, I mean, very good quality stuff, IYV. And Amazon has a bunch of different models now back in stock. Dave says he's got, hey, Dave, welcome. And Goats on the Roof, welcome. Dave said he's got an IYV 340 on the way. So what is that? The 340, Dave? Is that a Strat style or is it a Les Paul style? I'm not familiar with that body shape. Maybe it's the Mustang. I don't remember. Blues Rocker, what lower end guitar would you say had the best fret wire? Well, the Jet certainly does. The Jet has very good fret wire. The Tees guitars have decent fret wire. I had a while back, I'm trying to remember what brand. What brand was it? I think it was a Yamaha. Pacifica had very good, very good fret wire. Those are the three that come to mind. The others are decent, but the ones that stand out, this Jet definitely does, and the Tees. I mean, there's two examples. Oh, it's a PRS copy. I know the guitar. Yep, nice looking guitar. One of them has a flame, one doesn't. On those PRS copies that IYV makes, but that's a great value. Let's see, Jose, welcome. What about the debut collection Telecaster coming? I think that's probably going to be a decent, starter budget guitar, right? $119, you can't go wrong. And the debut Squier debut Strat was every bit as good as a Sonic or a Bullet, at a much lower price point. So I see that Telly probably being a great value. Searching for Tone, Brian had it. He got it first. I think he bought it. Paid extra for it to get it to import the thing, and then bought it here as well. So Brian could probably comment on it better than me, but I think it's a good value. I know there was some issues with quality control on them where they got them in and they were damaged, but I think they're decent guitars. Okay, Joe, I'm going to try my monoprice Strat, Garrett Strat, cheap Epiphone with the P90s. That's Mitch, yeah. They're all good values, right? What is Blues Rocker saying? I remember you saying Tees had nickel fret wire. Does Jet as well? So Tees doesn't have nickel fret wire, as far as I know. They're supposed to have stainless steel fret wire. The Jet has nickel fret wire, copper, nickel alloy, whatever they're using. But the Tees guitars have stainless steel frets. So Brian's saying it's a great intro Telly and a noodler. Okay. Yeah, so for $119, I think if you get one that's in decent condition, it's a good value. The Squier debut, Telly. Okay, let's see. You're trying to sell. Oh, is that what you're saying, Mitch? You're trying to sell your monoprice Strat, your Garrett Strat, and your cheap Epiphone with P90s. Okay. If anybody here is in looking for any of those guitars, you might have Mitch to work with. Let's see here. JP, welcome. They have a shipping from Toman, higher price from Reverb, final cost probably. Yeah, it's a top-loaded bridge, Brian. It's not a string through, I don't believe. Not sure if the route is big enough for every pickup. Sent it to Jace Allen, did a review, sent it off to review as a donation. You're a good guy, Brian. Yeah, I saw. I know Jace said that you sent it to him and then you sent it off to a viewer. That was a nice thing. And yeah, the Telly, I don't believe is a string through, right? And like you said, it's a top loader, and the bridge might be questionable. The pickups are probably low end, ceramics, but it's probably, as you said, a good modding platform, a good noodler, etc. Birdman thought about that Telly from the Squier debut, but went with a Leo James. Okay, hopefully you like it. Blues Rocker saying, is the Tees the only one that comes to mind that has stainless steel fret wires? Well, I mentioned one before. West Creek also has stainless steel fret wires. If you want to spend more money, the Donners now do. The upper end Donners do, as do the upper end Fesleys. A lot of them, at a certain price point, they're coming out with stainless steel. But, Tees is one of the few companies that started selling them at a lower price point. West Creek did that shortly before Tees, and those are the ones that come to mind. Tellys have stainless steel fret wires, Craig is saying. Okay, there you go. But eArt Tellys, I think, are in the 3s, if I'm not mistaken, 300s. Birdman is saying, at the same price I can make the LG my own as a build. Yeah, you're handy, Birdman. That's the difference. So you can probably save a lot of money just doing things yourself, which is smarter than me. Cheap Guitar Channel says, Blues, the Musee Virgo has the best dressed SS frets in any guitar. Yeah, you know what? Cheap Guitar Channel, I have read a lot of things about those Musees. I never bought one, and they went. I don't believe Amazon is selling them anymore, but I've heard nothing but great things about those guitars. Yeah, he says you haven't seen them in a while, right? I haven't seen them, but the M Musee or whatever, they look like they had unbelievable finishes on the woods. I've heard great things about the setup, the pickups. I just don't know anything about the company or the guitar, and I don't know what happened to them. GRB, the only IYV guitars that show up on the internet search are eBay. Yeah, and you got to be careful with the ones on eBay because they charge shipping and really exorbitant shipping fees from Vietnam or whatever. Ray Landis, those stainless steel ball end frets are an amazing breakthrough. So smooth. Yeah, they are. You just have to make sure they're lined up properly because a lot of guitar companies try to cheap out with them. They put the ball end frets on them, and then they're all misaligned. Some of them are short. Some of them, they're not lined up evenly. So you just have to be careful with them. But it is a good breakthrough. Yeah. Yep. Let's see here. What else? Rob is saying the MUC is one that got away from me. I didn't have the money at the time. Yeah, and I remember when they came out, they were at the higher end, right, of the pricing. And then for a while, Amazon, I guess, was blowing them out before they disappeared, and they were, more reasonably priced. But there's some reviews on YouTube where people absolutely love those guitars, and I keep getting in the comments people stating that they've had them and they're great. So I really wish I had a chance to check out an MUC, but never did. Yeah, they were about $300, Rob. Some of them might have been slightly north of that when they first came out. But, really high-end features, nice-looking guitars. Great guitars. So, what else? Let me think here. I'm about to wrap this thing up. So I'll try to answer the last couple of questions, and then we can resume on the next one. J-Man loves MUZ Tellys. Yeah. I haven't seen. I know who J-Man is. He does a great job on his channel. I haven't seen him review the MUZs though. Maybe I have to check those out. Blues Rocker. Yeah. The shirt was made for me. The only thing it should have had on the top of it is do not attempt to play these, even though they're no name on the headstocks. They should have had that cautionary statement up top. Not for playing. How's that? Cheap Guitar Channel, Ken Gardner. Hey, Ken, welcome. I don't have a soldering gun, or I'd fix the three-way switch myself. Also, I don't see as well as I used to. Yeah, I do. I don't do a lot of things, Mitch, as well as I used to. Seeing is one of them, right? My wife's been asking me to get hearing aids for the longest time. That has gone unanswered. So the hearing, the sight, and stuff, we're trying to keep this a PG channel, so we're not going to go there. But yeah, I get it. I get it, Mitch. Let's see here. Thanks. I don't know how great I have. I basically have very little subs. My views are mediocre at best, but I got something going, right? I'm appreciative of everybody that does take the time to tune in here. So really appreciate it. Is my go-to guitar the Player Strat? No, interestingly enough, it's not. It's not. The guitar, that I pick up the most to play has been that Tease, believe it or not, back there. Simply because it's just a freaking pleasure to play. The Strat, I'm still trying to decide between, and I'm going to do a comparison video at some point, between the Jet and the Fender. Pluses and minuses, value, like I always do. I haven't had it long enough to make any sort of an assessment. But I find myself playing the T's a lot just because I love it's got a flat neck. I think it's a 12 or 14-inch radius. The action is as low as you can possibly get on a guitar without it buzzing. And it just is fun to play. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing lately. Take care, Mitch. Thanks for stopping by as always, buddy. Have a great day. Let's see. That has gone on deaf ears. I too have trouble hearing. Yeah, no, I know, Mitch. No pun intended, right? But anyway, guys, listen, God bless you all. Have a great day. Thank you so much for joining as always. I know it's a tough time at this time to sign in. So I hope I didn't interrupt your day too much. But I look forward to talking to you as always. I look forward to your comments, and I appreciate you joining. So you guys have a great day. Jimmy Z, I almost feel guilty signing off. You just joined. But how you doing, buddy? I'll stay on 5 more minutes because of Jimmy. How's that? We can't just shut it down as soon as the man joins. So Jimmy, you missed a good one. We were giving all sorts of secrets away. We had a couple of great laughs. No, just kidding you. None of that fun stuff happened. We were just talking about guitars, as we always do, which is nowhere near as interesting as that. You said you're late to the party next time and doing fine. Work got me stressed to almost the limit. Otherwise, yeah, I know. Work has got a lot of people stressed lately. I'm retired as of the end of last year, so it's no longer got me stressed. Other things get me stressed, but thank God I don't have work to do that anymore. Let's see. Still love that Fender and love the T's and the Jet too. Yeah, they're great guitars. They're great guitars. I'll tell you what I like about all 3 of those, Jimmy. I like the color on the Fender the most. That Surf Pearl color is unique. It's one of my favorites. The T's, I mentioned before you joined, I think. It's one of my favorite guitars to play. It's just set up perfectly. It has very, very low action. I love the feel of the neck. Just a great guitar to play. And what else? The Jet is a newbie, so it's still earning its place in my herd. So far, so good. Is it the greatest guitar I've ever played or handled? No. Is it a good guitar and a good value? Yeah, I think so. I mean, the price point isn't where some of the lower end stuff is that's decent to play as well. But it's a good guitar. Definitely is a good guitar. And, I've had it a short time, so it might be growing on me in terms of exactly how much I like it. Birdman says I'll be retiring in a bit over a month. Okay, so I'll be able to do more projects in YouTube. Yeah, there you go, buddy. It's very difficult when you work to do that. I know what you're saying. It's almost next to impossible to carve enough time away to focus on both. So once you retire, you'll find it hopefully a lot easier. Rob is asking Jimmy how the Firefly Van Halen models you bought. Oh, you bought Firefly Van Halen models. Interesting. Yeah, that's one brand I keep hearing, similar to Jet. I had Fireflies, plenty of them. Right, they were all the 335 style guitars that Firefly came out with. I never had a solid body Firefly, and I'm hearing nothing but positive things about their Strat styles, their Les Paul styles, etc. So there's only so many guitars you can buy, right? Only so many. What is Rob saying? He's got 3 of the Firefly Van Halen models. 1 Music Man style. Okay, so you've got the Frankencasters or whatever, the Frankenstriped ones. They were awesome. Okay, absolutely unbelievable. Slam out of the box. I've been having issues with the job for a good while. Yep. Okay, I get it. So, Jimmy, anything else before we wrap this wonderful day up over here? I was just wrapping up, and I figured I'd allow you to vent, get some stuff off your chest, whatever the case is. But I'm glad you like your Fireflies and enjoy them and play them and rock on. So, until the next one, Blues Rocker, Firefly, Harley Benton, or Tees. I've never had either, but the Tees is on my radar. I've had Harley Benton. They're okay. I don't like the shipping time involved. I don't like paying shipping fees. Make a decent product. Firefly, again, I don't have the new stuff. I can't comment on that. Tees I absolutely love. I think they're great value guitars. And Torsten, his service and support is untouched. Really good stuff. Yep, we can talk more next time. Absolutely. Take care, Brian. Bluesy and Toothy, I just woke up. Just a quick question. Do you work or are you retired? And if so, where do you work? You're so cool. You're too much. You're a good guy. No, I don't work. I'm retired. So this is not all I do, though. I'm busy doing a bunch of other things, but I enjoy finding deals and discussing them. That's why I have this crazy thing going, but it's probably not the smartest use of my time, but I think it's fun. Big Blue, there you go. Yeah, formerly Big Blue, no more. And it's not the Giants, all right? All right, guys, listen, have a great day. Be well. Rock on, keep playing, keep buying, get bargains, whatever turns you on. Stay happy, and I'll see you on the next one, okay? Everybody have a great day. Take care. Ciao.